What up, world? It's your boy Big Willie, aka the Pac Mac. I hope y'all are having a blessed and wonderful day. As always, I am blessed and happy to see you. And today is Friday, and unfortunately, we aren't doing a Deck Tech Friday today, but we do have the rest of the Aetherdrift spoilers. This is the last of it because the rest of the set has been spoiled, and not only am I going to link this site, but I'm also going to link the Aetherdrift card image gallery from the actual wizard site itself, so that way you can see all of it and all of the different arts, all of the cards that are in both of the commander decks, as well as the just everything in the set that you could get and where you can get them out of each packs. I do like that they do that lately with their with the site and everything, with the whole like you can find them in this pack, you can find them in that pack. I will say, as far as the first place foils, seeing them actually like on like a video or in person, I think will do those better justice. I don't know whether the ones I saw on TikTok were real or not. But if they're as real as the ones I saw, like, yo, like they do look pretty hot. I'm just gonna throw that out there. But I'm gonna just go over most of the stuff that was spoiled today were all commons and uncommons. So there wasn't really like anything like that. I was just like too devastating. More just like, hey, what am I gonna see in draft that I would like? So we're just gonna scroll down and pause as we see something, and pause as you see fit to read any of these cards. And then we're gonna go to like the ones that I think like are going to see some play in formats, and um basically just like talk about this set as a whole. Like, as like the more I see of this set now that I've seen pretty much the whole set, I'm like, okay, well, maybe I don't need like necessarily a box. I can probably buy some singles of certain stuff and trade for some singles. Definitely try to trade for some singles. Definitely want to draft this set. I really do want to draft this set. Like, first things first, like I play limited. Um there's one thing I can say to anybody is, hey, you should play more limited. Limited is, I think, is one of the better formats of Magic in general, in any way, shape, or form you can play it, whether it's draft, whether it's sealed. It gives you a good chance to understand the set as a whole and maybe get more, maybe change your opinion on the set, because I know like Murders of Carlisle Manor got like a bad rep because like a lot of people are just like it's skin, and they feel the same way about this and the same way about Thunder Junction. Thunder Junction was a fun draft environment and was a fun sealed environment. Murders of Carlisle Manor wasn't bad limited of the two, and that's why I'm like, I really want to give this a shot limited wise. I see they already like they reprinted Murder and actually like did a little bit better because you can destroy a vehicle with that, and it's still an instant. So like, hey, look, like there's some cards in here. There's some decent, just little, just like little amp ups. You know what I'm saying? And there's some stuff that's like, okay, that's not super spectacular, but not every card in the set is going to be like a bombastic set. You know what I'm saying? Um, Let me stop for a minute so that way you can see those. And don't forget, pause as you see fit in case you want to see a card. And don't forget to use the links to check out like the set for yourself on your own time, because like this is one by one. Hey, we're just trying to just get this information out there and let you know, hey, look, the set's out. The set has been spoiled. In fact, it wouldn't surprise me if certain stores already got some. And maybe, we should start seeing box openings probably in the next day or two, probably over the weekend. Next week, definitely, because pre release is next Friday. It's actually a week from today. I don't know if I'm gonna go to a pre-release. I should, because it's right after my birthday and it's my birthday weekend. So might as well. Maybe might be a thing. I don't know. It's all depending on just stuff, because there's so much stuff going on with me outside of here, and gotta figure some things out. But yeah, no, as you see, like all this was basically just like commons and uncommons. Most of the draft chaff. Like nothing wrong with that, but it's just one of those things. You gotta have like all the filler. Like all the carbs for like that one like real. Like the couple real good. Like this is a gym, but there's a bunch of carbs. But now we're getting back to some of the cards that we've already seen, and I'm gonna try to just highlight a couple. Um, Go ahead and just get to something that, first off, I do think this house squad heavy is going to see a lot of commander play, especially in goblin builds, any like some kind of token builds, because it literally just outclasses the was it Legion Loyalist? It's either Legion Loyalist or the one. There was another one that makes a one that has to attack every turn. Because like this not only gives your guys haste, but then also becomes a freaking like elvish. What's the elvish guy that gives +1/+1 to all your elves, and you can add a green for each elf you control. It's kind of like Priest of Titanium. That's a lord. Like this is the goblin version of that, except for it gives all your goblins haste and makes goblins every turn. And later on, you can pump it for all the mana. Like I do think that's gonna see a lot of play in goblin centric decks, and I really like that card. I would like one just to have, just to set aside. I also mentioned how like I really do like Point the Way as like a little budget, like very good just land thing. And also if you're really wanting to like do this start your engines thing, I think that card is going to see some play in some fringe decks, some budget decks. I do think that this is a very good enchantment. It reminds me of like Plani Heart Expedition and um, the battle from what you called March of the Machines, the green one that gets you 2 lands as soon as it enters the battlefield. Like like this is in that vein of like it's decent. It's not Cultivate, it's not Harrow, but it's also like in its own way. Hey, this can see some fringe. Like, ooh, this is not bad. And then if you're really trying to like do the start your engines things, it's not bad. You know what I'm saying? It's one of those like you put it out and you set it and forget it, and then later on it's just like, hey, let me do this real quick. And you can do this and you can sack the enchantment at any time. So it's like, let me go on ahead and get all these lands in tapped, and then you have like Splunking or like Amulet Figure out. And I mean, it only gets basic lands, but there's ways to like get around that. So I really do like Point the Way a lot. I need a foil one. I do like Salvation Engine. I am wondering where it will see play besides in like vehicle decks, Um, but I like the concept of it, and it seems pretty decent, you know. Let's see, Sky Seer's Chariot. Sky Seer's Chariot is pretty nice. Another Hate Bear. It's a Hate Bear vehicle, and then there's all these destroyed vehicle cards. Like I will say, like, vehicles are getting like, I mean, it's their vehicles have been easy to remove, but because they're artifacts, but like they're just artifacts. Let's see. I think Web Strike Elite could have been a lot better. Although, I mean, with the cycling, you can blow up something, but I think there's something that already does that that's older. I think it's like Power Lesson. Monument to Endurance. I really, really, really like that card. As someone who, I mean, of course, I play Living In and I play the cycling version of Living In. So, like, and 3 is always the magic number for any type of cycling deck. Well, for Living In, especially because you either want to cascade in the Living In or, what I'm saying. So, like, this kind of fits in that vein. It makes me want to play Hollow One in other formats. And then, like, you could sit there and get that out and then just cycle once on my turn, make you lose 3 life, cycle once on your turn, make you lose 3 life, like cycle, get a treasure, cycle again. Like, like I think I might be looking to use that card in like other formats. I don't know how good it would be in Modern. Because like there's some I'm one of them, like, hey, look, like I could play the meta, but I'd rather try to make something and be a pioneer or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, and because I mean, I played some things in Pioneer that not everyone would play. I mean, I'm Pioneer, but in Modern that not everyone would play. And in fact, Pioneer might be the place for this because like you can sit there and play Hollow One in Pioneer, and it's just like, hey, what card this reminds me of? Which a lot of people who've seen my Living In deck back in the day, really liked that like super secret tech that like everyone was just like, wait, why are you playing this? And then they was just like, wait, that's actually pretty cracked. That's genius. That's smart. It's Drake Haven. And in case you don't know it, it's 2 and a blue. Whenever you cycle a card, you may pay 1. If you do, make a 2/2 flying Drake. And like, it's like, I would sit there and cycle at the end of people's turns and be like, yeah, cycle Drake, cycle Drake, cycle Drake. It was like my anti Leyline of the Void, because people play Leyline of the Void and be like, yeah, so we just shut off your Living In. And I'd be like, yeah, you're putting Leyline of the Voids in. I'm going to put this Drake Haven in and just surprise you out of nowhere and just be like, we're going to win with a bunch of 2/2 Drakes and just control the field from there. And Monument of Endurance kind of has that same feel, except for like it instantly, like, hey, look, we're gonna make you lose 3 life every time I cycle, like every time, and we're just gonna sit there and just we got to do it. We only do it once per turn, but you know what I'm saying? Like, you can sit there and ramp yourself. You can sit there and draw a card, and then you're just like, okay, yeah, I'll cycle, draw 2, cycle, get a treasure, cycle, you lose 3 life on your turn. Cycle. You know what I'm saying? Like, I will cycle through my deck to kill you and just hope that I can sit there and control you from there on it. Yeah. Monument of Endurance is my spec choice of the set. Like, if I'm gonna have to get me a good the more and more I talk about it, the more and more I'm sitting there thinking, like, yo, like, this card's hot. This card, I could see some fringe, like, yo. I mean, and maybe I may not be like the super, like, it may not be like, tear breaking, but it might just do something to where it's like, I think this guy might be on to something, you know what I'm saying, in some like modern things, but in Pioneer especially, like, oh yeah, no, like, because we can play it. We can play this in Pioneer and figure it out. We just got to figure it out, because most of the good stuff is in Modern Horizons. Either way it goes. Let's see. We already talked about how much I liked Gonti. I don't know whether I know he saw it. he saw like the snap, and me and him talked about it. And I told him, I was like, that whole snap is in the video, so he needs to comment on that video, Toski. But what I'm saying, like, hey, I like that. I like that Gonti. That Gonti is pretty decent for Prosper builds. Yay! It's a vanilla dinosaur lord, but it's not bad. It's not bad. It's not bad for the cost. Radiant Lotus, I think will see some commander play. I don't know how good that's gonna be in like current standard build or something. But then again, with all the artifact tokens that you can make, like I think this is gonna go dumb in like certain decks. That especially if you are really about making artifacts and stuff. Um Unstoppable Plan's not that bad. It's what's that green enchantment that does it at the end of your turn? Um I wonder what the whole deal with Jace is. Why that's the only card that kind of references him, in my opinion. There might be something in the story, and I just hadn't read the story. I miss it when they used to give them out in books. You know what I'm saying? Like the little books in the fat packs. The fat packs were like, oh my goodness, them like fat packs back in the day. Like if you know, you know. Like fat packs back in the day was just always a joy to get. And it's just like nowadays, like they're good, but they could be better. And like, I think one of the things, like, there's a handful of things that I would sit there. That's like its own video talking about, just comparing fat packs of old to fat packs of new and what they could do better nowadays. Um, I mean, I might have to do that. Mimeoplasm revered one. I want one just to have one because Mimeoplasm is my favorite. But as far as playing him, I've got a specific deck that I do think that he could be played in. If I decide to build that commander deck, he wouldn't be the commander. He would actually be like the guy in the deck that kind of like takes advantage of like what my commander wants to do. If you already know, it's in the same color, so you can think about it. If you got an idea of where my head's at, holla at me. Let's see. I do like Spectacular Pile Up. I do think that this is immediately going to replace a lot of the Wraths that a lot of people play, mainly because you could cycle it as well, in case if you don't need it. But then if you do need it, it's like just really, really good. Like you can't go wrong with this Wrath. I love how they're really trying to bring Siege Rhino back into prominence with this Debris Beetle. Um, can't tell me that anyone who saw that was just like, hey, it's Siege Rhino with one less color in a vehicle, So, hey, like, it's not bad. It's not bad. Let's see. I do like this Afterburner Expert. I do think that this will probably see some like fringe standard, like I don't know, like I know people like that are doing like the arena like early things and stuff. Um I know that they are probably, like testing this guy out for exhaust builds, like because you can sit there and exhaust and bring him back and then he's a 4-2. And he's a guy you could safely discard because if you're playing like exhaust, like the exhaust deck, it's like, hey, this might be a thing. I know people are going to test it, so hey, um, I do like the Speed Demon. Um, I just like it. I like it. It's a 5/5 flammable for 5. Um, you also draw X, lose X. You give it some kind of life link, and it's just like, hey, we're just gonna draw our deck and just try to win the game. How much play will I think this will see some commander play, definitely, but I don't know how viable it is in like other formats. Um, the Gear Hulks, I really, out of all of them, I think the green white one is probably the best one. And even then, I'm like, I don't know. Like, they just, I think they're okay. They're okay. They're not as spectacular. Um, I see they're trying to bring Mill back with the River Churn Monument, but I do like it. I do like it. I think that Mill is a very frustrating yet awesome strategy. Um, Look at Chris Griffin over here in the Transit Mage. Glad they finally completed that cycle, but still. It's funny. It's hilarious. That art though, that art though, that art though. That art though, like it's just so wild. It's so wild. Like I'm not a fan of it, but it's wild. Um, Gas Guzzler seems pretty nice. Um, with the especially like late game, because then you can sit there and just sack creatures or vehicles to draw cards, which can become a thing. I know a lot of black decks that need a sack outlet are probably looking at that card as far as all formats. Um, and it's not bad. It's not bad. I mean, it's not the best, of course, but everything is either trying, like they're trying to be like, this is diet, this guy, like nowadays it's like, hey, how can we, you know, power down something without power creeping, and I get that. That's fair. That's fair. That's fair. That's fair. That's fair. Gilded Goda. Interesting. The district mascot reminds me of that one, the one white guy. He costs one white, 1/2. He had training, and whenever he got 2+1, you can remove 2+1+1 counters to destroy target artifact or enchantment. Um, I think that's the thing with this district mascot is like a green version of that, but he only destroys artifacts, and he has to be saddled to get counters. So it's kind of like, remember how I just was saying like the whole diet, Hey, it's diet that guy. Oh man. Although I will say this, he has a place in Hamza, you know, because we find ways to give him counters. But, that's the goal. So he's got a home. He's got a home for me. Um, Explosive Getaway is a nice little wrath. Um, Especially how you can blink something. I do like the Perilous Snare. Perilous Snare is really, really good. I also do like the Demonic Junker. I do think that's gonna see some play. Um, because like you can get so many like affinity for artifacts, it might as well just say like, hey, look, this thing is gonna be cost 1 black, with so many ways to make different artifact tokens, and just everything's an artifact nowadays. Like we are definitely in like, oh man, Tolarian Academy would be like, this is why Tolarian Academy is burning. Like, in case we did not know, um, there is so many different ways to like, just like, this is why Tolarian Academy is the best land ever. I'm gonna go ahead and post up a copy right there, so that way you can see what Tolarian Academy is if you hadn't. And I played with that when it was in standard. Yeah, yeah, boys old. Anyways, I do like the Demonic Junker, because you can blow up a dude, and for each player, so like it'll definitely see some commander play, um, and like I think it's gonna see play in all formats, and I don't think that it's a bad thing to sit there and look at, you know. Um, it's good. It's a good card, and there's a lot of good things about it. Anyways, Perilous Snare. I do like that a lot. I think that also has a place in Hamza because later on you can just use it to just put plus one counters on things, as well as it still like removes a threat out the way, and it removes a non-land permanent. Like, look, you just put it in a jail. You put something in jail and start your engines. Like, I really do think start your engines is going to have like there's some cards that are gonna be like really really good with the start your engines mechanic, and um, I think that they will all like the early ones will see play because of the later ones that really want you to have your engines already started. Um, Mu Yangling, she's alright. She's alright. She's okay. Gives all your vehicles flying. Isn't there like another vehicle that does that? There's like a white vehicle, I think. I forgot from where. Um, so curse cloth wrappings. Um, got something. I like it, and I don't like. I get why like a lot of people are like, this is the new Whip of Erebos, but Whip of Erebos gives your people lifelink, and this only pumps up zombies. I know all your people are going to be white zombies in addition to their other types, but it also has no mana cost, and like it removes it from your graveyard. Like I do like that, but I'm just also like, it's not bad. It's not bad, but it's also like I don't think the hype is like as hyped up as it is to be. But hey, somebody proved me wrong. Like you want to hype it up as the new Whip of Erebos, like hype it up. I do think it will see play in a lot of formats, and I do think it'll see play in non-zombie decks. Just because like being able to embalm something isn't bad, but I do think if you're playing in black, you already have stuff to revive your things, and I think the lifelink is more valuable. That's why I like Whip of Erebos a lot better. Um, let's see. Possession Engine. Possession Engine is pretty cool because then you just steal something and then use it to crew or use whatever its abilities are. March of the World Ooze. I really like that card. It's a big green, big super dumb green card that does big dumb things. And oh my goodness, like this card is good. Um, it reminds me of Lurking Predators because like that card, like I was a fan of that card before like Commander. Like I really wish I had a like really spec on that card and bought like a bunch of them when they were like $1 a piece, because now they're like a good couple bucks, and I could have like sat there and flipped it into like some money when Commander got real popular. Um, but yeah, like March of the World Ooze is like that card for me. It's like, all your guys are 6/6s, like base PT 6/6, and their oozes in addition to their types. And then whenever an opponent casts a spell, then it's not their turn. You create a 3/3 green elephant creature token. That will be a 6/6 ooze. In addition, like I like big dumb green cards. Green is probably my favorite color in Magic. There's so much fairness, honesty, and just beat down. Like I like beating people's faces in. There's something about it. Yeah, can I win the sneaky way? Absolutely. Can I win other ways? Absolutely. But there's nothing like just beating people down and just asserting dominance. Just saying. March of the World Ooze is cool. I really need a copy of that. And a foil, like, cool copy. Doctor Fabricator. We've already seen, like, cards that makes dudes when you draw a second card, but I think that that's going to definitely see some play in some decks. Especially with all these little hey, we want to draw guys, and like the the guy from Thunder Junction, that whenever you commit a crime, you loot, and his power is equal to the number of cards you draw on that turn. So like, there's a home for it. There's a real like viable home for that and that style. So Thopter Fabricator will absolutely see play. Um, I do like Full Throttle as a finisher. It's definitely going to be like a big red commander finisher, like a go wide commander finisher. Like, I think that you know, some Gruul deck is just going to be like, yeah, so um, we're going to go ahead and play Triumph of the Hordes and try to kill somebody. And then they're going to go to their second main, and they're like, okay, so Full Throttle. And or you know, like Crater Hill Full Throttle, like like there's plenty of ways. Um I do like Count on Luck for like Prosper type builds, and all of them that want to play stuff from Exile. That's a pretty fun little thing. Um Salute the Driving Force. I think is cool, but I think that like, it's not bad, but it's also like, especially like because it reduces the cost of your non-creature spells, where X is your speed. Um, so I don't think that's bad, but I also think that, like, you've got like Jetmir, who's just like way better. um, Voyager Glide card, we talked about that when we first saw that card, about how it's just the one white guy that says tap three permanents or something, tap three untap things to put a +1/+1 counter on it, and then if it's got like, I think, three or more counters, it gets flying. Not bad. Everyone's talking about how catch remove is going to be ridiculous, and I can't wait to see what people build with it. I really can't. Market Backwalker is not bad. It's different. It's different. It's no the one that everyone uses. You know what I'm talking about. I can't think of it. The one that's XX, where you can remove it to deal the damage, and you give it lifelink, and you have that Heliod out, that whenever it deals damage, you get a +1/+1 counter, and you just infinitely shoot somebody to death. Oh wow, we're at the end of the page. Let's get to the next one and hope that nothing goes wrong. Page 2. What it do? But yeah, no, this set's definitely got some just like, it's not bad. It's not Murders of Karlov Manor again. I don't know how good it's going to be in comparison to like Thunder Junction, because Thunder Junction was a lot better. I did like Bloomborough and Dustmorn a lot. Foundations, of course, that it doesn't count. But I don't know how it's going to be like received in comparison to like this past year sets. And I definitely think there's better sets on the horizon. Final Fantasy, but yeah, no, I'm still like hopeful, and I do want to play this, and I definitely want to draft it. I'm going to draft it, and I want to play this limited so bad. But let's go ahead and get to the next one. Sab Sunin, Luxa Embodied. I've already got a buddy of mine, Toski, wants to build that as a commander deck so bad. The Frog God, she looks amazing, and I I like it. I like it. I like it a lot, and I just wonder. I'm very like excited to see like people build on it because like there's so many like just ways to do it and things to do with it. And if I wasn't like super simic on like everything, I'd try to build it too. But um I'm gonna wait to see what he does, and maybe we can feature that on a Deck Tech Friday sometime soon. I'll be excited to do it. Bloodgast, always glad to see an oldie but goodie back. Um, I don't like Quag Feast at all. I think that if this was an instant, it would probably be kind of better, but I still don't think it's that good. I think it's as a sorcery, I think it's bad. I think it will be like one of those like in limited, you'd be like, and watch me end up getting that card in my limited pool. We're calling it now. First time I get to draft it, the first time I get to draft or play seal, if it's in my pool, expect a short. Uh, but I don't like that card. I think that that should have been an instant, and it would see some fringe play then. But even then, it's like, or it should have cost one black. Like if it had cost one black, I'd have been like, okay, well, it's still bad. And then, of course, repurposing Bay, just really trying a birthing pod without birthing pod. Hazaret, Godseeker for two. It's an early start your engines card, and it's for two, and it makes all your little bears unblockable, and it's for two. Like yo, like I do think this Hazaret is going to see some play. I think it'll actually possibly see some play in a lot of these red decks. In standard, I think Hazaret is like really, really good. I think this one is really, really good. Um, you know, because like I think the start your engines things, I do think that there's going to be a couple of them that's just going to be just decent. Um, we already talked about the Gear Hulks. While I do think that this red green one is a semi decent finisher, just because damage can't be prevented. Like I really do think that a lot of people need to realize like, hey, damage can't be prevented is really one of like the best things like ever, especially on if you're trying to do damage. Um, you should be looking for more things like this that says that your damage can't be prevented. Um, because it gets around protection, gets around just a bunch of different things. Um, yeah, yeah. Um, look at some of the best cards that say prevent damage and stuff like this. Like says, you know what? Nah, nah. Oh man, I play with somebody who's like real fog heavy, and I'm just so anti fog. Um, Valor's flagship, I do think that will see some play in whatever Greasefang builds that's out there. I think that that will absolutely see play in those decks. I don't think it's as good as the one that makes the Angels, but I do because like the one that makes the Angels is like the card, like that's the main finisher. But I do think that this will just like see like a like I do think Great Greasefang will at the bare minimum test that specific one out in their decks, just because you can cycle it and it makes dudes. Yeah, yeah. But otherwise, I don't know whether it's going to see like any other play anywhere else. I do like a lot of these 2-drop commanders that's promoting like other type of builds. Um, Chandra will see play in some I think she'll see play in Martyr Greasefang. Like she'll see some play somewhere. She will see play. Do I think she will be like the best thing? No, but I think she'll see play. She'll see play. Um, she'll see play, and plus, like, the freaking Akira pose, like, yo. Let's see. I do like this Thunderous Velocipede. Like, once again, Hamza is a very wonderful home for this. Um, I like that card. I like that card a lot. I don't know whether it's gonna see. It might see some standard play. It might. It might. It really might. Like, I think it's. Ooh, ooh. But yeah, no, definitely. Hamza wants this. Hamza wants that so bad. I've already talked about Attachak whenever I did the first video about Attachak, and I might have to build it. Maybe if I get one. That's what I really. That's the only reason why I want a box is to build a commander deck off of this set alone, and then do 21 changes on it. I don't know if I've talked about this in other videos back in the day, but doing box commander is so fun. But it's so costly because getting boxes these days, especially now that they're 30 packs, I don't like that. And then like, and just the price, inflation over time. Like, I remember when boxes were like $100, and now they're like 120 at best. And it's just like, man, maybe this set won't do so good, so that way I can get it cheaper. Always look for a deal. Always look for a deal. Crypt College Chariot's pretty cool. Bassery Tomorrow's Champion. I wish it was better, but it's not. I do like Bulwark Ox. Um, because it's another heroic intervention, and Hams can always use another heroic intervention. Notice how I'm saying Hams in a lot of these things, but because a lot of these things are like really like green white +1/+1 counters, it's so good for Hamza. I do like the whole Caradoria and Lagorin, like little combo thing. I almost wish they had partner, you know. Let's see. Far Fortune, I do like that card. That's another commander deck that would be pretty nice to build. Because it automatically like sets off your engines, and with Hazoret in the early game, your engines are already started, and then you're just like, yo, let's get Far Fortune out here, and then it's just like, yo, but I mean, just +1 set of damage. It's like you could do better, but it's not bad. It's not bad. It's different. Redshift. Redshift, whoever built Redshift as a commander, I want to see that deck so bad. I do. I do. I like that deck seems like it's gonna be really, 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 really fun. Especially like if you exhaust and like just like I just want to see all the dumb things you're gonna put out. I, Death Shadow. That's all I can think of whenever I see the last ride. I know it's legendary, I know all that, but loot I think is all right. Um, like loot is loot. Loot's loot. Um, he's okay. He's okay. Um, I do like Winter, the new Winter and Curse Rider with just making, like blue black artifacts, like, you can do some dumb things with that. And then he's a wrath on a stick, you know. So, and the Mendicant Core, Godlight, I think that's gonna see some play. I know Esper artifacts, you just got 2 new guys that's for that deck. And Death Shadow. Let me stop talking about Death Shadow. But you just got 2 new guys for your decks, and like I do think that once you get max speed, like being able to copy your artifacts whenever you cast an artifact, like I think that's pretty cool. The Aether Spark, it's a thing. Um, I I don't think it's bad, but I'm also just like I don't know. I don't know. We'll see what happens. We'll see whether it has something going on. Hey, it's Fibblethip's cousin, Minwixt. I don't know. I don't think I said that right. We already talked about Muraganda Raceway. We need that in Eldrazi. Like now, actually, I think all 3 of the raceways, definitely Muraganda and Amonkhet. You know, like giving an Eldrazi haste is nothing to scoff at. Yeah, I I can see a Vishkar Raceway not being bad either, because all 3 of them start your engines, and we already talked about how good that is. Lifecraft engines, all right. Glad they're doing more Verges. I think that's going to be the dual lands of this standard cycle until like maybe a year or 2 from now. And I think that's about it, because now we're at the lands and green white Gear Hulk, which shooters up to 2 artifact creatures or enchantment cards of mana value 1 or less and put them in your hand. So like, like it's not bad. And it's a 4/4 first strike trample. It's not bad. I could use that in Hamza. Oh, but what do y'all think of the set? We kind of just went over the set in a nutshell. Oh my goodness. There, like I said, there's some good things, but I definitely think this is if I don't get it in draft, I'm gonna try to snipe it as singles. Um, unless if I figure out a way to do box commander for it, but. Right now, like my big thing is like I'm trying to save it for Final Fantasy, because like that set. My goal is to hopefully get, and I'm gonna say this right now, speak it into existence. I'm trying to work my way into getting Wizards to acknowledge me and hopefully get me a preview card. Like that would be so cool. That would be the coolest thing. That's in fact, if you want to know my birthday wish, like help me, help me get better and get a preview card for this year, because I'm just trying to do something and make this thing happen and get this thing going, because as always, it's really all about the gathering regardless of everything. It's all about your personal gathering. It's all about this gathering. And like I said, I've been dreaming up this Final Fantasy set since I was a kid. I remember back in like middle school, high school, I was like, man, what if Final Fantasy was a set? And like, like, this is like dream come true. So expect me to go real hard in the paint on it. I'm gonna try my best, but either way it goes, hey, I hope y'all are having a great day. Remember, be kind, be good to each other. Just do something good, do good things for good people. And once again, I don't know what is up with my program that I've been using, but hey, y'all be good people, and as always, holla at your boy. Peace.